less than 24 hours after being approved to operate in the Lower Mainland. Ride-hailing companies Uber and Lyft have started picking up passengers in Vancouver. Our Neetu Garcha is following this highly anticipated rollout. So Neetu, what do we need to know?
Well, Sonia, there is a lot of excitement today because the wait is finally over and ride-hailing is operational in BC. Some of the first rides were taken this morning, but there are still a lot of questions about whether demand will be met and how effective the service will be. One of the questions that people have is how much will it cost to get a ride? Well, the pricing structure for both Uber and Lyft is fairly similar. Both have a base fare of $2.50 and the same charge of 33 cents per minute. Where they differ is in their service charges and per kilometer rates. And it's important to note that companies are not allowed to offer any discounts below those minimum rates, but prices can go up during peak periods. Now, neither company has disclosed exactly how many vehicles they have on the roads today. Uber's service is already operating in Vancouver, Burnaby, parts of West Vancouver, North Vancouver, the Tri-Cities, and Richmond. Lyft, for the time being, will operate in the core of Vancouver and provide service to YVR and the PNE. The company has business licenses approved for a fleet of more than 400 vehicles, but the question is, can they meet the high demand? Here's some of what both companies had to say about that and plans to expand into other parts of the region.
There's always an adjustment period when drivers have to be able to understand the services available and then to go online to be able to meet that rider demand. At the same time, though, there are a lot of restrictions that make it more difficult to have enough drivers to meet those demands. So an example of that is the Class 4 license, which requires a driver to write a test about driving a bus while they're still driving their Toyota Corolla or whatever their personal vehicle may be.
We're also really encouraged by the fact that the municipalities of Metro Vancouver have come up with the intermunicipal business license proposal. And we're looking forward to the interim one being available in spring, is what we hear.
Now, as a framework for that regional ride-hailing license is being worked on, Surrey Mayor Doug McCallum reaffirmed today he does not plan to sign on until he's assured that a level playing field is established for the taxi industry, adding he's considering an increase in taxi licenses for operation in Surrey. Meanwhile, Delta councillor Dylan Kruger says people in the Fraser Valley are being disproportionately disadvantaged by the regulations.
Well, today should have been a very exciting day. We've been waiting for 8 years in Metro Vancouver, and finally we're getting ride-sharing. Uber and Lyft have been approved to operate, except it's turned out to be a bit of the Mickey Mouse version. It turns out that outside of Vancouver, there are several communities that have not been designated as areas where Uber is going to be operating, including Tawasin in my town of Delta, White Rock, South Surrey, Langley, Maple Ridge, Pitt Meadows, and West Vancouver. So it turns out that it's just not economically viable given the regulations that the province has put in place. It's extremely disappointing for residents in my community who've been waiting for ride sharing for a very long time.
Now, this announcement has not stopped the political sparks from flying. And as for how the BC Taxi Association is responding to the news that these companies are finally in operation in the province, they're saying that the current ride-sharing framework is unreasonable and creates a distinct disadvantage to taxis, adding they're in touch with lawyers to discuss next steps. And both Uber and Lyft have acknowledged that there are still some kinks to be ironed out as they begin operation here. So they're asking people to be understanding and patient as drivers get to know the regulations and the processes that are in place. But all in all, there seems to be a lot of excitement today that the wait is finally over. Sonia?
Absolutely. Neetu Garcha reporting live for us this afternoon. Thanks, Neetu.